It's alive! It's alive!
Hey guys, Asher coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends Champion Guides. Today, Mausoleum Mage. At a request by my man Ali here, he says, I'd love to see a guide on Mausoleum Mage or Eleanor. We could do Eleanor at some point in the future here. I have yet to find a good guide when building these. Would love to be, or would be really cool to see it during the free gear exchange. Well, I just missed the free gear exchange. We get a lot of champion requests here on the channel, but feel free to keep leaving them, and eventually I'll try to get to every single champion that you guys want to see. So Mausoleum Mage, I absolutely love. The first thing I think of when I think of Mausoleum Mage is Seer activation teams, but more on that in just a bit. Let's go ahead and take a look at this champion. He is truly, in my opinion, an S tier, absolute, max him out, book him out with confidence, epic support champion. And I didn't recognize how good this dude was when I started playing this game 4 years ago. I don't know why I didn't recognize, but I didn't. And now certainly I do, and hopefully you guys after today's video will as well. Unfortunately, there's no lore on this champion, so no lore again this video, but I do have a couple in queue here on the channel that there's some really cool Raid Shadow Legends lore that we'll tackle at the end of these videos. Anyway, Undead Horde, Force Affinity champion, obviously epic. You can see he's got a pretty cool aesthetic to him. What are these weapons called? I have no idea. But either way, yeah, he's obviously undead. He's just doing his thing. Got nice shoulder pads too. So on his A1, he has Soul Manacles, attacks one enemy, has a 40-50% chance when booked of placing a 30% decreased speed for 2 turns. This is a really nice debuff to have. This is also the only reason that we would need accuracy in his kit. So some people, especially if they already have decreased speed on your team that you're running Mausoleum Mage with, or if you're just not relying on him, such as maybe a Seer wave activation team of landing that decreased speed on the A1. Again, we'll show that later on in the video. You wouldn't need to build any accuracy on this champion. But if you're using him against bosses, Fire Knight, Ice Golem, and you want to land that decreased speed against the boss, you will need accuracy, obviously, in his kit. On his Might of Undeath A2 ability, this is on a 3-turn cooldown when booked, and it's really nice that that one book goes right to the cooldown. Places an increased crit rate and increased defense on all allies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. Also, block debuffs on all allies for 1 turn. This is a really, really great buff. You get the big version of increased defense, you get block debuffs for 1 turn, which is pretty much the status quo for epic champions, and then increased crit rate on top of that. It's also a very unique skill in that it brings 3 buffs in 1 3-turn cooldown or 1 ability, right? There's only a few epics that have that ability, like Archmage Helmet is another one that comes to mind, but it's really powerful, and yeah, it's a highlight of his kit. But his kit is incredible on his A3 as well. Winds of Purging. This is on a 4-turn cooldown. You can book up the heal a little bit as well. It's a full cleanse, removes all debuffs from all allies, and then it's a nice heal. Heals all allies by 10% of this champion's max HP. More on that in just a moment. We can use a really unique build on this champion to take advantage of him having a lot of HP in more than one ways. So, heals each ally by a further 10% if 1 or more debuffs are removed from that ally. Fills each ally's turn meter by 15% if 2 or more debuffs are removed from that ally. So it's a very powerful potential turn meter increase. We've got the heal. We've got potentially extra heal as well. It's a really good ability. You compound that with the fact that he's bringing block debuffs and increased defense. He's got a really, really powerful kit for an epic support champion. I can't think of an epic who has a cleanse and all like this buff potential, right? It's really, really special. He has a good base speed at 104. He is a little squishy, which would be a downside on this champion. Let me go ahead and show you how I have him built here. Then I'm going to take him into a couple Seer activation squads. Now, I want to be clear though, guys, on Mausoleum Mage. You don't have to run him just on a Seer activation team, right? If you pull this champion, especially in the early or the mid game of Raid Shadow Legends, you can just use him as an increased defense, buffer, cleanser, all that stuff. Like his kit is very good aside from Seer, but he's also a great tandem partner for Seer, okay? I want to show you really quickly his rankings according to hellhades.com. I've been doing that on all these champion guides here on the channel. I want to give you a really full in-depth look at these champions, and that sometimes means sharing other opinions other than just my own here. So if you want to check out the full guide on any of these champions that I do include, I'll have a link to the Hell Hades website, and you can go ahead and take a look there. He gives him an overall rating of 4. I personally give him around a 4.5, so I'm a little bit higher on this champion champion for an epic, again, they don't come much better in terms of support. Key areas, basically he's great in every dungeon, totally agree with that. And really in Doom Tower, he's such a versatile support champion, right? 9 out of 10 book value, I agree with that as well. And then on his A1, he has a strong 4.6 multiplier, but this is not a champion we're going to be getting much damage out of. If anything, we're just going to be getting damage out of War Master Mastery on this champ, and that's about it. So in terms of blessings on this champion, on a support champion like this, I usually just like to go, if I don't have one already on the team, with Commanding Presence. And because we want a lot of HP on this champion, I like the fact that we get 3,000 HP once we get 2-star Ascension as well. Strengthens my team aura by 7.5%. Yeah, sure, why not, right? It's a really nice blessing to have, really on every team if you can get it. Or, of course, the legendary version of this as well. I think it's Intimidating Presence. So, I have him in a shield set. We talked about this earlier, right? His heal is based on his max HP, and so is a shield set. It's based on the wearer's HP, 30% of the ally shield. Not only that, but the shield is also going to, when paired with Seer, it's going to be another buff that we can remove. So he's going to be bringing 4 buffs to the table with the shield and the 3 buffs on his A2 ability. We just want to make sure he's faster than Seer, which we'll see again in a moment here. So now we have that shield is beefier, right? And again, take away Seer because we're going to be removing the shield anyway, right? But I think I love Mausoleum Mage in a shield set. Just flat out. Like, I really love this champion in a shield set. As a matter of fact, if I didn't have him paired with Seer, I'd probably go with a bolster set. But we don't want a protection shield because we want to strip it off with Seer. But a bolster, if you have it on this champion, obviously that's going to also add regeneration, 10% heal each turn, onto the protected shield for 3 turns based on 30% of the wearer's max HP. So you can go either way depending on the champions that you're using. Because we're going shield, and because he has that heal based on his HP, we're going to maximize this champion's HP. We have 90k here, and we pretty much win HP across the board. We have HP on the ring, we have HP on the amulet, and we have HP on the banner. We also got a lucky trip roll of HP on that banner. We're looking for speed, hit points, and defense are going to be our priorities on this champion. He's pretty easy to build, right? We want him to be fast enough to keep cleansing the team, keep bringing those buffs to the table, and obviously we want him to be, have a lot of HP and durability on defense. So again, I'm adding a little bit of resistance too, because any champion that's a cleanser in Raid Shadow Legends, it's a good idea. You know, when you're trying to fill stats, it's a good idea to give them some resistance as well, because ideally your cleanser is not being CC'd. They're not going to be stunned. They're not going to be frozen. So that way they can cleanse everybody else away, right? So if everybody else on the team is frozen, that's okay, because Mausoleum Mage can come in with his A3 and remove all those debuffs. But if he's frozen, well, then you have a problem. Who's going to cleanse, you know? So running a champion like Mausoleum Mage with some resistance is never a bad idea as well. So again, looking for HP percentage. And I put a speed set on him too, because as I mentioned, guys, I'm looking for some speed. I have speed on the boots, I have HP percentage on the chest, and I have HP percentage on the gauntlets. No worries in going with some defense percentage as well here, guys. Again, we don't care about crit rate, we don't care about crit damage, we don't care about attack on this champion. We don't even care about accuracy unless we really want to land that decreased speed on his A1. So again, fairly easy to build. I don't have any masteries on this champion. I want to pick him out with you guys, and I'm actually going to go offense and support. Now, offense is going to be good against bosses, obviously. Getting that War Master damage on the A1 is going to be beneficial. So we're going to go with some, crit rate, crit damage doesn't even matter again. So we're basically just going to, come all the way down the left-hand side. We're not going to think too much about it because all we really want here is War Master. If he's dying for whatever reason, if you got a squishy Mausoleum Mage on your hand, no worries, foregoing the offensive tree and just going down defense and support. You can go for some extra resistance. You can come down here with Resurgent. You can even go, if you want to, with Retribution, chance at counterattacking and maybe applying that decreased speed on his A1. You can also go with Selfless Defender, decrease the damage all allies receive from the first hit by 20%. So there's a bunch of options if you want them. You can also come all the way down and pick up Unshakable for even more resist on your cleanser. But the mandatory, at least in my opinion, mastery tree is going to be support, right? We really want to get that HP up even more for obvious reasons that we already discussed. We want to increase the value of his heals. We want to go ahead and increase the value of his shields. We want to go ahead and increase the value of his heals and shields if the enemy is, or if the ally is under a CC debuff. We want to come down. We definitely want to pick up lasting gifts, extend the the duration, 30% chance to extend the duration of any of the buffs that he's bringing to the table, and he's bringing quite a bit. We're going to go ahead and pick up Spirit Haste as well, just to fill things out here. And we have a speed set on him. So, you know what, like, a lot of people love Cycle of Magic, and it's not a bad ability, but even with one speed set, Rapid Response, a good mastery too, had 30% chance of increasing the turn meter, by 10% when a buff cast by this champion is removed or expired. He has a lot of buffs, obviously. So I'm going to pick up Laura Steele just to get a few extra speed, you know? It's not that game-changing or anything like that, but we'll take it. We're just going to go with, oh, golly. I guess we'll go with a little bit of Heart of Glory there. So those are going to be the masteries that we go with on Mausoleum Mage. Now let's go ahead. You know his masteries. You saw his stats. You saw his artifacts. We talked about blessings. Let's go ahead and take him into a dungeon and have some fun here. I have a couple teams set up here, highlighting the Seer combination. For those of you who don't know, Seer on her A3 ability, Karma Burn. Basically, it's an AoE attack. The damage that she's doing on this AoE attack is based on the total number of buffs on your team. Not only is it based on the total number of buffs, but it's also going to remove said buffs, right? So that's why it's so powerful. As many buffs as we can get on the team is going to give her a stronger attack. We are on stage 10 of Dragon Hard, and we have a kind of a cool team here. It's not a super fast team because we don't have any Kaimars or reset champions of skills. So this is going to be a fast wave here. Look at all these buffs. And then she strips them away and she kills everybody. These mobs have, they're level 350. They have a lot of HP, right? But she just bleeds through them like it's nothing. That's the power of Seer and Mausoleum Mage together. So Nishak, Vermin Lord, is going to be basically our dynamic, I wouldn't say duo, can't say duo because there's just one champion who's going to be doing most of the actual damage once we get to the dragon, so a poison specialist, if you will. And then we have, some cleansers, obviously, on the team. Block debuffs, really important against this new version of the dragon. And again, as you guys can see here, it does take a little while. We have Elva on the squad as well to revive Seer if we need to. But you saw how crazy that activation was, and it's going to get even crazier because what we're going to do, guys, is I'm going to show you a Doom Tower hard, just random floor with a double reset champion, like 2 Kaimars or a Yumeko and a Kaimar on the same team, and we'll see how the dynamic duo of Seer and Mausoleum Mage can just take everybody down. So as we spoke about here, guys, taking quite a while on this second wave. Eventually, this is how fast it usually, or how slow I should say, it goes when you don't have a Seer or you don't have an instant, Eleanoril or something like that that can combust somebody with the poisons. That was actually what I believe Ali was his name. That's what we mentioned in tandem with this champion guide request. So eventually, Elva's going to pick up Seer, but she's going to be, golly, Elva, pick her up, please. Oh, you know what? I must have only her A1 on, because she would have revived by now. Either way, these mobs will be down in a second here. Enough poisons and bombs on them, you'd think they'd be dead. They just need to take a turn here, right? So the mage is doing a good job just making sure everybody stays alive, obviously, with his nice little heal there on that A3 ability. But we're not really in jeopardy of dying. I am worried about Cardinal there. Can we kill her, please, before she revives everybody? That would be fantastic. And hey, if you ever want to revive... Okay, finally. You know what? We have Lydia on the squad. So if Elva doesn't feel like reviving, Lydia will handle it when Cardinal tries to revive. Here we go, guys, against the dragon. And again, this is going to be a Nishak Vermin Lord showdown here. I will say, though, that if the poisons do land before the block debuffs comes on, we can do what we just did. That's a 12k heal. That's not bad at all, right? A 12k heal off of his A3 for a 10% heal. That's the Masteries plus, obviously, his HP. You get a little bit of a bonus there. And again, you can book up that A3 as well for the heal. Now, if you just want to use Mausoleum Mage on a Seer activation team like this, if you get lucky with a book and it goes right on the A2, actually, come to think of it, right? If you have a champion like a Kaimar, right? A champion like, if you're using a Renegade or something like that, right? You might not even need to book the champion at all, right? So as we always say here on the channel and my main channel, go with you know, think about how you're using this champion, right? If you're going to use a nuker, for example, like maybe a Rhonda in the arena, and you just want to use her as a speed nuker, you know, and she's going to kill everybody on her first shot, or any nuker for that matter, right? You don't need to really book it down necessarily. Obviously, yeah, sure, it's really better to do so, but sometimes, given how you're using a champion will dictate whether or not you should use your books or prioritize your books on them. So guys, here we go. Not the fastest run, but again, it is Dragon Hard 10. And yeah, you're just doing a good job, just doing a little bit of healing, a little bit of shielding, a little bit of activating Seer. Let's go ahead and do a quick Doom Tower run as well. Man, I'm really enjoying this channel. I hope you guys are as well. I'm just excited to go through all the champions. Let's just hit a random floor here. Set this team up. We have, again, Seer, Mausoleum Mage, and Lydia. That's it for the buffs. And then Seer for the damage. And then Kaimar's for the activation. I'm going to show you after this the team setup as well, because I want to, it's obviously important really on so many teams in this game now, guys. Look at that. Look at that. We're going to reset and just keep doing it over and over again. This is the fast way to clear Doom Tower. Get all those buffs. Seer uses the burn. Kaimar's going to reset. Boom. There it is. Get the buffs. There it is. Karma burn. Not too bad, right? Not too bad. All right. So let me go ahead and, show you the team setup really quickly on that, guys. And then we will call it a video. So, I mean, it's probably pretty straightforward to you guys, but here's the squad. We have Seer, just going to be, you don't have to do anything there. She's already going to prioritize her Karma Burn as long as there's enough buffs on your team. If she's using Clan Banner, but you want her to use Karma Burn, obviously you can just, you know, first choice. Or don't use, you know, on Clan Banner. Mausoleum Mage, he's going to prioritize his A2 anyway, so you don't have to do anything there. Lydia's going to be the same thing. She's going to be prioritizing her A2 ability. She's bringing strength and increased speed on this ability, so that's why we get the extra buffs. Really, the only thing we have to do is on Prince Kaimar number 1, we're not going to use Seal of Magic on the first round. On Prince Kaimar number 2, we're not going to use Seal of Magic on the first round. On round 2, one of our Kaimars is not going to use his Seal of Magic, right? We're going to save it for the third round. We're going to use it. And then the other Kaimar is going to open with his Seal of Magic, right? To reset for wave 2. And then the other Kaimar will be resetting for wave 3. And that's it, guys. So a pretty easy team to kind of put together, and it's always fun to watch. So, guys, just like Ali did, I'm getting a lot of champion requests from you guys. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. And if you want to vote on which champions we review next, what I'm going to do is a few times a week at least, I'm going to let you choose the next champion of a given rarity that you want me to do a guide here on the channel. Guys, thank you so much for watching till the end of this video. I could just watch Seer just kill everybody all day. I don't know about you guys. Either way, guys, Mausoleum Mage, whether he's with Seer or not with Seer, fantastic champion. And again, I recommend him in this build, no matter what type of team that you are using around him. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.